And so you just can't get around this. You got to clean up your vibration. And just because somebody is misbehaving by your standards to you doesn't mean you have to notice it and take it in. So you got to do something about that sensitivity. Well, that's not an easy thing to do because most humans have been doing it for a very long time. Most of you have been calibrating. Oh, we love you so much, but we love you so much. You've been calibrating to others' response of you as if that has anything to do with anything because they, like that one individual, like the world at large, is a mixed bag that will give you what you've calibrated. That one individual is like the world at large, a mixed bag. We've been playing with an analogy to see how it sits with you, and it's effective. We want you to think about all of the people in the world in an arena, a really big arena. And they've gathered together in clusters, and they've given themselves different labels. There are Republicans and Democrats, and there are Catholics and Protestants, and there are Jews. There are every category that you can name. There they all are clustered together. They're conflicted because some of them belong in more than one group and they don't know what to do. But there they are, and in most cases, they are clustered together talking smack about the other groups. That's mostly what they're doing. And we say there are only two groups, really. There are only two groups. There's the group who, in this moment, that's a key word, in this moment are under the influence of their alignment with source, they're calibrated to source, or those who are in this moment calibrated to something else. And in every one of those groups, there are those calibrated to source, every one of those groups. And in every one of those groups, there are those calibrated to something else. And you cannot, have never been able to, and will never be able to do anything about what they're calibrated to. And if you spend your life trying to figure out why they think the way they do, or why they feel the way they do, or why they see that in the way that they see it when you see it entirely different, you will waste your life. You will deprive yourself of any happy moments because it's just too much. And it's not your job. It's not even close to your job. It has nothing to do with you. So whether it's this whole cluster of humanity or whether it's just a person, pay no attention to where they're at. Only give attention to where you're at. Tend to your own calibration and then watch what happens. Because when you choose anyone in any of those groups and you decide to push against them, maybe because of their denial of you, or maybe because of their disagreement with you, maybe because they see something different than you do, doesn't matter. There are lots of reasons that you might want to push against. There are lots of examples of who you might push against, but there's only one reason that you're pushing against any of them. Drum roll, please. There's only one reason that you're pushing against any of them. They threaten you because you're not calibrated. You counted on them for your source and your strength. That's why you gather together in clumps with others, is because you don't feel strong on your own. But when you've learned to calibrate to your own wholeness, calibrate to your joy, calibrate to your love, calibrate to your clarity, calibrate to who you are, now you can love them. You can love all of them. They don't threaten you. Some of them call you. Some of them entertain you. Some of them wrap their arms around you and love you. But it is not important to you what they do. You free them to their own creation while you tend to yours. You see? In the beginning, it's easier to change the subject altogether, but that's easier said than done because something about this person is active in lots of ways with what matters to you. And we want to say to you, the calibration between the two of you is not that far off. It's just that he doesn't like you. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. It's that things that he doesn't like about himself are the same things that you don't like about yourself, and they're active in both of you, and they are acting as aversion point.
Good to know.
Even in your dislike of each other, law of attraction is working. You see? And so it's easier said than done, but we would encourage you to always just step back to the basis of what you know and decide that you're going to calibrate. Esther had an experience in the last few days that just knocked her over because what someone thought wasn't what she thought, and it was about her. And how could that possibly be? How could that possibly be? How could you not think the same thing that I think about me? How could you not? How could you not? The first reaction when something like that happens is sadness, then some anger, then some resentment. Just gets worse and worse. You can die over it.
Right? Self-blame is kind of my path that I
Yeah.
take, and I
Yeah.
don't like it.
You can deprive yourself of life force itself over that. After a little while, though, because you know what you know and you felt how you felt and you know who you really are, then you ask yourself the question. So Esther sat to write her segment intending. That's where she calibrates. And she just asked herself the question because she felt resentful and she felt picked on. Most of all, she felt misunderstood. And then she thought, wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Really? I've been calibrating for months in my book. Look at my world. I'm going to let that be the basis of this stupid stuff? And so then she just asked herself right out loud, Esther, which do you feel more, resentment or blessed? No contest. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, underline, 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 circle, 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 circle. Which do you feel more, resentment or love? Oh, these are easy questions. Love. Love. Who am I? How do I feel? What do I choose to feel? What do I calibrate to? Really? Am I going to calibrate to who I am or to who somebody who doesn't know who I am thinks I am? You got that choice all day, every day. All day, every day. All day, every day. All day, every day. And after a little while, this may upset you a little bit, and we really don't. Yeah, we want to. We want to upset you. Want to upset all of you. This may upset you because it's not what you think you want. After a little while, you'll be so good at calibrating to who you are that you won't be jumping through any hoops for anybody because you've been trying to get them to love you, and you know what? You can't be good enough to them to keep them loving you. You can't do enough to keep them loving you because they got to be tuned to love before they can love you. Can you control that? And does it have anything to do with you? It doesn't have anything to do with me. Oh, what a relief. What a relief. It doesn't have anything to do with me. So now I can just tune in and love them. How clean is that? How frisky is that? How good feeling is that? How brilliant is that? How easy is that?
Well, sometimes not as easy as I'd like it to be, though, because of the momentum I have practiced about the resentment and about.
But now we got a pretty good run going, so don't start that.
Okay.
Because that's a calibration to something else, and you're human and you're right. That's real too. But it's like there's good stuff on the buffet and there's stuff that tastes terrible on the buffet. Your choice. Your choice. And a lot of you eat the stuff that doesn't taste good because you want to be humble and sacrificial and obedient. And eventually that leads you straight to the cellar of resentment. So just be nice to yourself. You're nice to yourself in many ways. Just don't let your misunderstanding of their misunderstanding mess this up. It's all a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. That's what you keep doing. You let other people who it's not their job to understand you, and they couldn't if they wanted to because you're complex. You want them to understand you, and when they don't, now you've lost your way. Really? How many more damn books do we have to write? There's source energy all over you, flowing to you all the time. It takes so little to get in the beam of that. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Enough?
Enough. Thank you.
Really good. Really good. Right here. Right here.